Alright guys, so today we're going to be talking about Black Lives Matters because a lot of people don't understand it and I am learning about it and I want to learn more about it today. It's something that needs to change and I'm here to try to help the best way possible. So I'm going to have my boy Gene on here today. He's a super cool guy, a motivational speaker, a guy who's really there and really understands the subject of Black Lives Matter. So I'm super excited to talk about it today and get to learn something. And I hope you guys get to learn something too. Alright, I'm going to get him on here right now. And also, I hope you guys have had an amazing day. A beautiful day. And just a day you just were able to... Just requested him, and he's going to be on here soon. Alright. And also, I got a haircut today, guys. I'm liking it. It feels pretty good. It's nice to feel a cold breeze behind my head. I'm going camo today. Did I request them? Let me see. I don't think I requested them. Let's try that again. Let's see here. Alright, 1 second, guys. Just trying to make it perfect. Send request. Okay, I just sent the request properly this time. And also, guys, as people that are joining now, Black Lives Matter. I'm talking about Black Lives Matter today because it's something I don't know enough of and I'm willing to learn. And there's so many people that don't know enough of this subject too, and this guy that's going to be on here today is going to really help with that. And he might have some troubles getting on. Where you at, Gene? Oh my god, he has to upgrade his app to join? What? Guys, I'm so sorry. I might have to cancel and be right back on in 5 minutes. Give me 1 sec. 1 sec. Oh my god. Instagram's always trying to update stuff, man. Without people knowing. Okay, guys. I will be right back. I swear, in 5 minutes, I will be right back. Just 1 second, guys. Sorry about the rush. Please come back on, because it's a great subject and great talk today. Just going to be a little late. Love you guys. See you soon. Very soon. I'll be right back on. Sorry about that, guys. I'm back on. And just to repeat what I was talking about, I'm going to be talking about Black Lives Matters today. It's a subject that a lot of people do not discuss or are a little bit too scared to discuss because they don't know a lot about the subject. And this is going to be a really cool hour of just talking about Black Lives Matter and really trying to understand it. And I need to understand it better, and I'm trying to help and get to know how I can help this process. And guys, I'm super excited. Thank you for joining again. And I'm at him right now. He upgraded his phone. Alright guys, 1 sec here. There's my boy. Alright, this is gonna work this time. No worries, fellas. Whoop whoop! And also, I hope you're having a beautiful day! Woo woo! What's
What's up,
man?
man?
How you doing today?
I'm doing good, man. This thing told me I had to upgrade at the last moment.
Dude, technology, man. It's always got something to get back at you.
Yeah, it is. It is. How you been?
Dude, I've been great, man. I've been really working on myself, and I'm more motivated than ever right now. I got my motivation back, and it's just going really swell, man.
That's cool. Well, I'm happy. I just got my hot water back, all my power back, because, you know, we had this crazy blackout here in Texas. So I'm extremely happy about that. I'm very grateful. I'm looking forward to this.
All right, man. So, again, I know the audience knows you a little bit, but let's introduce yourself a little bit.
I'm Gene Mosley. I'm from Houston, Texas. Grew up in the inner city. Worked my way up out the hood. Went to college, got a master's degree. Now I run my own business. I'm a 3-time author. I go in a lot of juvenile detention centers and help a lot of teens that grew up like myself without fathers to learn communication skills, job skills, so they can get out here and make an impact in today's society. So that's me in a nutshell.
Dude, every single time I ask you that question, I'm just like, man, he's got too much. When is he going to stop talking?
Yeah, man. It's just a long track record.
All right, man. So I really wanted to talk about, I've been getting to Black Lives Matter. Someone mentioned to me, I didn't know enough about it. And so I've been really working on trying to learn what it is and trying to get my opinion about it because I've been too scared to give my opinion.
Yeah.
And I figured out an opinion that I really like and I want to be able to help. And this is the best way for me to start doing something like this.
Okay.
And so today I wanted to talk about Black Lives Matters with you because you would understand it much better than most. And so let's do it, man.
All right.
All right. So the first question is, do you believe all white people are privileged? Privileged.
Um, I would say to a certain degree, I don't agree with the whole all white people are privileged because I have friends who grew up very poor. Now, if you're talking about from the justice system, yes,
I'm
it's
talking
true.
from the justice system. The
Yeah,
justice system.
Yes, I would say from the justice system, yes, we do get charged more for crimes. That the same crime that I would do if a white person do, they don't get the same amount of time. So I give you an example. When I was in college, I have a friend of mine that got intoxication manslaughter. Okay, he got an intoxication manslaughter charge. When he went to court, he ended up getting a plea bargain, and all he did was went to, it was like a trustee camp. He went there for 6 months. He got out. They reinstated his license. It was something I never seen before in my life. Now, he was a white guy. Now, I have friends that went to jail for 5 years just for having one crack rock, having a dime, a nickel, and they went to jail for that. So I would say in that regards, yes, the law is kind of skewed towards white and it's skewed towards blacks. But yeah, I do truly believe that with all my heart.
Okay, dude, it makes perfect sense. What does the word privileged mean to you, and what does it look like to you?
So privilege to me, when it comes to the justice system, because I don't believe outside of justice system.
Okay.
When it comes to the justice system, I see it as, if they see a black male, people think that automatically that you're violent, that you're probably crazy, or you're gonna steal something, whatever. But if it's a white male, they don't see him that way. So if it's a white male, they go in the store, they might want to do the same crime as we, but they might look at that individual and see him as innocent. Oh, that person will never, do something like that. For example, the kid Dylan Root that killed all those black people in that church. The cops took him to Burger King. You know what I'm saying? That's not going to happen to, you don't hear about a black male shooting up a bunch of people and going to Burger King. Most likely he's probably going to get shot, or he's going to be called a criminal and all these other things. And it's also the way that it's framed. When a black person breaks the law, or it's a black male, I'm going to talk about black males in general, they say it was a thug, a gangster, a hoodlum, or whatever. But if a white dude do it, they say, oh, he has a mental, it's a mental challenge, or he's struggling mentally. So the narrative about it is something that I will say is very discriminatory, but it's been like that for years. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I'm working hard now to try to help change that narrative.
All right, man. That's beautiful. That's awesome. This is exactly why I want to talk to you. You're giving amazing examples to open up people's eyes. So someone came up to me one time and asked me what I think about Black Lives Matter. And I couldn't give him an answer. And the answers I was giving him was just a Texan's answer, a very white person privileged answer. And I didn't really understand anything because I didn't try to. I was selfish enough to realize that, man, I'm not focusing on the world and focusing on other people. I'm just focusing on myself. And that is not the right thing to do. So I'm trying to make a change with that, because when I was listening to it, I feel like Black Lives Matter, I thought it was just about black people. I literally just thought that. No, it's not. It's literally about everyone else. It's about supporting something. And I did not know that. That's insane how I'm just an 18-year-old, not 19-year-old, and I'm just not paying attention to this stuff. And then I'm realizing it, and it's like, holy crap. Why haven't I been trying to pay attention? I'm always trying to help people with so many other personalities-wise, and I'm not even trying to help what's the main cause right now.
Yeah. So, go ahead.
Sorry. Go ahead. And I just wanted to say that was very wrong with me, and I'm trying to make a change from that.
Okay. So I'm going to tell you what I think about Black Lives Matter. Now, some people are going to get upset. I have met with the people at Black Lives Matter, and they got pissed off at me. So let me kind of frame this, because a lot of people never heard this perspective before. Okay. Well, first of all, let me tell you about a situation. I was out at Detention Center, right? This was before the George Floyd stuff happened. This was back when the Trayvon Martin stuff was going on, right?
Okay.
That's when Black Lives Matter started kind of popping up everywhere. And I was seeing this all the time, like Black Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter. And I was like, what does that mean? You know what I'm saying? Because I don't need a movement to tell me my life matters. But I'm a very confident and very proud black man. You know what I'm saying? So I was in the juvenile detention center, and I'm finna show you what the weakness of BLM is. And I had 20 guys in there, teens. It was all black. And so I asked them, I said, how many of y'all in here have heard of Black Lives Matter? They all raised their hand, right? I said, let me ask y'all a real personal question. I want you to raise your hand. How many of y'all in here believe that your life matters? How many of them do you think raised their hand?
You know what? I'm gonna have to say all of them.
None of them.
Whoa.
Not one of them raised their hand. So this is the issue, okay? This is where people feel to get pissed off.
Okay.
I understand Black Lives Matter, the cause. Yes, police brutality is real. I grew up in it. I dealt with it. I've been through it. But good police officers is real as well. Now, the thing about Black Lives Matter is it's a lot of yelling and screaming. I get that. They want to bring awareness. But it does not teach entrepreneurship. It does not teach financial literacy. It does not help one build their self-worth. So you can scream all day and tell somebody their life matter, but if they don't personally believe their life matter, it doesn't mean anything. So I'm gonna tell you why the Black Lives Matter in Dallas got pissed off at me. So a friend of mine invited me to meet with some of the head people. Now I went to go meet them. Right before I met them, I was invited by Chief David Brown of the Dallas Police Department. The chief invited me to meet him one-on-one. Now, I didn't know who he was. He got in contact with me with somebody that knew me, but he knew about the work I was doing in Juvenile Detention Center, right? So I went and I met with the guy. We talked. He was from the hood. The chief of the police station was from the hood, black man, and we had a real conversation about how we can help a lot of these grown men and these kids in these juvenile detention centers to become better citizens in society, right? So we had this conversation. I go to be a Black Lives Matter event. I meet with a couple of leaders. And all I asked was this what pissed them off. I said, I understand what y'all are doing. I understand that y'all are protesting. I get it. But what does this do to help the black community itself? What is the end game? Because I am a tangible guy. I believe in steps. I believe you should have steps. If you're going to teach job skills, you're going to teach life skills, you're going to teach communication skills. What is your end game? And they got pissed off because they say, what you mean? Our end game is we're going to stop these police officers from killing us, blah, blah, blah. And some of us like, we hate cops. I was like, first of all, I don't hate cops. They are bad cops. It's like they're bad black people. They're bad cops like they're bad white people and everything else. But for me, Black Lives Matter, I understand the movement itself, but when it pertains to actually doing something that's practical, that's going to help your community, it does not do anything.
That's a really different way of putting it.
Yeah, it's no empowerment in it. You can't empower a community. How do you empower when I go talk to 20 teens and I ask them, you've been watching Black Lives Matter before you went to jail, and I ask you, do you believe your life matter? And you say no. That movement is not empowering anyone. It is bringing awareness of something, but it's not dealing with the issue. And I'm going to tell you what the issues are. So I'm going to be straight up raw with you.
Yeah, dude, absolutely.
From a black community perspective, our issue is a lack of financial literacy. I was reading a research article today about how most of us in the community, we know nothing about the stock market. We do not know how to budget. The average black family has $4,900 in a bank account. A lot of us on welfare. We got more debt than we have assets. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. And I have a master's degree, so I'm part of the 0.0011% of African-American males in the whole country that has an actual advanced degree. So we have a lot of education in different areas, but the biggest killer is we don't have any ownership. So if you have a movement like Black Lives Matter or any other movement, people will be with your movement when they see what it's about. Yeah, they see that the police brutality, George Floyd got killed. It started all these emotional issues. You know, people was yelling. But when you start burning down buildings, when you start vandalizing, you lose people. Now, let me say this. if those businesses in those hoods, in those black communities, were owned by the people in that community, if your mama owned one of those businesses, or if your friend down the street ain't owned that business, or your cousin owned that business, they will not be burning down those businesses because there will be ownership. They will know what it took to build that business from scratch. So instead of burning down the buildings and letting a lot of these kids, let's keep it real, a lot of these kids were coming from suburbs. A lot of these white kids was going to these black communities with Black Lives Matter and tearing up stuff with the people in the communities. But if they owned the stuff in those communities, there is no way in hell they would have been burning those business down. So part of the things that we have to do in the black community is we need more ownership. That's why I own a business. I'm an entrepreneur. That's why I go teach entrepreneurship in juvenile detention centers, learning how to use your creativity to monetize your talents and things like that. So I get Black Lives Matter. I respect it. But the movement itself, it does not do the things that are necessary that's going to build a community.
Okay. Wow. I got to take that in for a second, man. That's a lot of knowledge into that. I got to take that in. I'm taking it in, man. Oh, man.
Yeah, man. I don't play about this. This be driving me crazy.
Dude, I wanted you on for this show for this exact freaking reason. Man, that's a lot to take in. Man, that's a lot. All right, man. Let's take a little break from the seriousness for a second, man. Man, that's well said. I feel like just well said. All right, man. So let's go to the game that we talked about. So the game today is going to be me just asking you questions. Since you are a motivational speaker, I'm trying to become a life coach, things like this. These words mean a lot to us, and we know what they mean to things like that. So what does grateful mean to you?
Grateful, man, is taking the time to appreciate every moment of your life. Knowing that at any second it can be taken from you. Taking the time to appreciate your health, because at any moment that can be taken from you. For example, look what happened to Tiger Woods today. He took a ride in his truck, and now we're looking on the news. He's in the hospital having surgery on both legs. You know, look at what happened to Kobe Bryant. He got in an airplane to go and to take his daughter to go play a basketball game, and the airplane crashed up against a mountain. So gratitude is taking advantage and being appreciative to every moment, every bit of help that you have, and the people that's around you.
I agree with that, and that's how I think of it too. But I didn't really start realizing, like, to be grateful until I moved out of my house.
Yeah.
It was like those little simple things, like buying groceries, how grateful I am to have a bowl of cereal in the morning and to eat it. How grateful I am able to talk to you right now about Black Lives Matter and see and be able to learn more. How grateful I am to be able to go to the gym and I can afford the gym to get into shape. Like, I'm really starting to understand the gratefulness because of the fact I'm trying to be aware of what I have and what I can't have. And so that's what grateful means to me, is that be aware of what you have, because you know what? You couldn't have it at all.
Exactly. Exactly.
All right, man, let's go back to it. So my next question is to you is that, have you experienced racial profiling, and do you feel like at times you have been held back by other people because of this?
I mean, I experienced it most of my life, but it doesn't hold me back. I know it's out there. I don't pretend that it isn't. Even I'll give you an example. Now what you asking me from? Are you talking about from a police perspective or something else?
I'm talking about a police perspective.
Okay, yes, a lot. So I'll give you an example. Even right here in the town that I'm in, about 7 years ago, I got pulled over at 3 o'clock in the morning. I was coming from Walmart, and the police officer told me to get out the car. Now, you know, I always keep my hand on the steering wheel and I always, yes, sir, no, sir. Anytime I get pulled over by a police officer. So he tells me to get out the car, and he says, get your license. You know, I need your license, you know, blah, blah, blah. Well, my license was in my back pocket. So when I got out the car, he had his flashlight flashing in my eyes, so I couldn't see, right? So the moment I reached in my back pocket to get my wallet, he pulled his gun on me. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, hold on, man. You told me to get my wallet. Now you about to shoot me out here at 3 o'clock in the morning. I said, you know what? I'm not finna get it. If you want the wallet, you come over here and get it. So he came over and he got my wallet out of my back pocket. He checked my registration. It took him about an hour to bring me my stuff back. I'm sitting outside in the cold, You know what I'm saying? Wait for them to bring my license back and, you know, check my car and everything. But it's one of those things, man, that one little move, you know, I could have been shot. You know what I'm saying? Because officer is obviously nervous. You know what I'm saying? He asking me to get my wallet. I reach for my wallet. Now you pull your gun out. So, yes, that has happened quite a bit. Even growing up in the hood, we used to get slammed on the car for no reason. That's why for a big portion of my life, I used to hate police officers. Because I was like, man, these dudes all crooked. But then I started meeting mentors that were police officers and things like that. And that changed my perspective. But yes, I've experienced it a lot, but I didn't let that hold me back.
That's amazing, because a lot of people do let it hold. A lot of people I've discussed this with and talked to about, it has held them back a lot.
Yeah.
And I didn't really realize this for a while. I didn't experience this a lot at all, 0%. But there was only a few occasions that I really experienced this, but didn't realize it because I was too young. I was at school, when I was in high school, I walked with this black kid because he lived close to where I lived. And we would walk to our houses together because we didn't want to ride the buses because buses suck. So we would just walk. And there was a few occasions that cops would walk by, and cops would literally stop, pull over, and ask us, hey, what are you guys doing? And then I never realized it when I was younger because I just thought, oh, they were just asking because I was just playing and didn't understand what was happening. But, and then I realized, I started thinking, I was like, when I walked by myself with my brother, we never got asked, ever. But every single time I had a black kid with me, the cops pulled over and said, hey, what are you guys doing? And I'm like, and I think about that now, I'm like, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, it pisses you off. It pisses you off. These people ain't lying to you. It's like the example you just used. I was helping a friend of mine move one day. So one of us will stay at the truck and watch his stuff while the other will take his stuff into his house, right?
Yeah.
So he's in the house, so I'm at the truck chilling. Police officer drive up, and I'm standing at the truck and I'm waiting. So he just drives up, and he turns his lights on, and just so happen my boy Rob comes out the house. And when Rob comes up, the police officer said to him, hey man, are you okay? Is this guy stealing your stuff? I was like, and my boy Rob went off. He went off. He's like, what do you mean? He's helping me move. And it's one of those things. And that was the first time Rob had ever experienced that. He's like, that is crazy. I said, bro, I'm so used to that's why I didn't, when you was texting me, that's why I wasn't responding, because I didn't want to reach for my phone. You know what I'm saying? I was just hoping you came out. But it's real, man. This stuff happens all the time. And it angers you. You know what I'm saying? It angers you so much because you know they racial profiling. You know what I'm saying? You haven't done anything. But in those situations, as I teach the guys in juvenile jails when I'm in there, you got to control your emotions. Because the moment you lose your cool, you make a quick movement, you might be blasted. You know what I'm saying? So you must control your emotions in those situations. But yeah, it's maddening, man.
Okay. So my next question to you is since you grew up in the hood, what are things you didn't have that you wish you had?
Number one, my father. You know, my father wasn't there. He left when I was 11. I think that if I had a father growing up, I wouldn't have made so many mistakes. I would have had more confidence. Discipline, confidence growing up. Because my daddy left, I was doing drugs. I was stealing cars with my friends. I'm not going to act like that we was just innocent. No, we ain't all innocent out there. You know, when you don't have no direction in your life, you just follow the crowd. It's thank God that I stopped before I got killed or I went to prison or anything like that. That's one thing I wish we had more money, you know, because you grow up and all you hear your mama say is she can't afford this, she can't afford that. And so you stop asking for stuff for Christmas because you don't want your mama to go through the pain of not being able to provide whatever gift that you're asking for. You know what I'm saying? So I stopped asking for things. I did not like growing up on welfare, you know, but my mama did the best she could. And I respect that. But, you know, you see these kids on TV, they get all these things. They live in these perfect lives and can get all they want. And so you want those things. And when you see those type of things, that's the type of stuff that inspire you to want to steal or or go out and sell drugs. You know what I'm saying? But those are some of the things that I wanted. But thank goodness I stopped stealing and fooling with all them drugs and stuff. And I decided to take more of the education route.
See, I'll never experience that. Not even a little bit. I will never experience the fact of really, really, really wanting something. Because when I grew up, I got a new pair of clothes every single year.
Yeah.
Every single year, my parents would take me out and spend $500 on a new pair of clothes, on just as if I needed it, or they would pay for my school stuff, or they would pay for my lunches, or they would do all these things. And so I can see that because a little part of me, when there was like a kid just a little bit richer than me, even though I was spoiled and I was privileged and that I got that, there was always that kid that spent $1,000 on clothes, and I would be like, man, I wish I could have that. That's a little bit nicer than what I have. Yeah. So I could kind of think of like the fact of literally having nothing and just be like, I could see why people do that because you want stuff. People want stuff.
And that's how dope dealers get you. That's how you start. That's how a lot of the older drug dealers get you because they know you want stuff. They know this how they get. They be like, you know what, man? I never forget this dude named Chris. He doing 185 years in prison right now. So he'll never see this. I will never forget this. I was trying to play NBA, become a professional basketball player. And one day he drove up in his 1964 gold painted car with 10 on it. I mean, he had a lot of money. He sold a lot of drugs. And I remember he asked me, he said, hey, man, Junior, come sit in the car. Everybody know me as Junior. So I went sat in the car, you know what I'm saying? And when I was sitting in the car, he turned around and he looked at me, and my other homeboy that was close to my age was sitting next to him. And he said, hey, Junior, you ready? I said, ready for what? He said, I look at your clothes, man. You got holes in them. I know you want some Jordans. I know your mama got y'all on welfare. He said, you ready for this? And he put a big old bag of crack cocaine in front of me, man, like crushed up marshmallows. And he said, man, if you sell this for me, you know what I'm saying, I give you about $200-$300. But if you got to go sell it all. And I was that close to doing it, but I didn't do it. But then 2 weeks later, I saw another one of my homeboys with a new gold chain, with some new Jordans, some new clothes. And he was on the corner selling dope. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to go sell dope just for a little bit so I can get some new stuff, right? Man, right when I was walking to go ask my homeboy to give me a wholesale, meaning can he break me off some of his, we called it cheese back in the day. I could sell some of his cheese for some money. A Bronco drove up. And my homeboy started fighting with this guy I'd never seen before. But I heard the guy say to him, you need to give me my money. And my homeboy said, I'm not going to give you nothing. Old boy reached under his seat, pulled up a pistol, and shot my homeboy right in front of me. And that was the moment that I made up my mind. I will not sell drugs. I'm not finna die on these streets. And that's what made me want to go to college more than anything. So I was like, man, I ain't trying to get blasted like that. But, you know, that was the life of growing up on the streets, though.
Man, it's just insane. Like, I have never grown up that way. That is just like, I would have never thought about that. That would have not hit. The only time I've ever saw any of that, just a glimpse, is that my dad, I worked for a company with my dad, and we were movers. I was a 16-year-old boy, and there was a lot of black people there, and they were from the hood, and I worked with them. They were all older than me. I was 16. I was just trying to make money, you know? Mm-hmm. And then after work and stuff like that, some would like cut off breaks and stuff like that. We would just like go dish and play basketball. And I would sit with these people for hours, not understanding anything they're saying at all. Like they would say something and I'll be like, I'm trying to understand. I just can't. And I'm not trying to like make fun of anyone. I'm not trying to do anything like that. I just couldn't understand. And then I would go into the neighborhoods. They would want me to play basketball because I was tall. So I would play with them to get out of work because I was like, I'm 16. I'm trying to get out of work. This is a hard job. And I would experience a little bit of that. Like, I would see people with drugs. They would be walking around. Like, their clothes were different. Everything was different. I would walk into houses, and it would be almost my size of height. And I'm like, God. And I kept thinking to myself, and I was like, I am so happy I never had to live like that.
Yeah, it's tough.
And so that's my next question to you is, I know that's a horrible experience to go through, seeing that, especially as a friend. Like, holy crap, how strong are you? But like, there, how did you get out? That's a big question that a lot of people ask people that get out. How did you get out of
Well,
that realm?
as Benjamin Franklin said, that when you fail to plan in life, you plan to fail. I came up with a plan. And my plan was very simple. I was gonna dribble a basketball until college wanted me. That was pretty much. But I every day I would practice basketball. So a couple of things that I did. I started getting these magazines that was called Slam magazines, and it was
Mhm.
about these NBA players. And what I started doing is reading about how these guys got out the hood, because most of these basketball players come out the hood. And I started noticing certain things. Number one, they were disciplined. They always worked on their basketball skills. Number two, they were trying to get in college. I had never thought about getting in college before until I started taking basketball seriously. Number three, they found somebody in their hood that was an older person that can impart wisdom on them. So there was a man in my hood named Mr. John. And Mr. John, I used to go spend time with him. He used to let me cut his grass. He used to, I didn't have cable, so I used to go to his house and watch the NBA basketball games. And he used to talk to me about the street life and how to survive and things like that. And the hardest part was I broke away from the crowd. So I was gonna go rob. So okay, some of my friends and I was gonna go rob this jewelry store, right? So they was like, "Hey, let's go rob this jewelry store. This guy has let us see all the jewelry. We know where the money is. Blah 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 blah." So at first I was like, "Okay, that sounds like a good idea. It'd be a lot of money." But I was like, "That's stupid," because Mr. John just talked about if you want to get out of here, you have to break away from the crowd. So I told my homeboys, "I'm not going to steal with y'all no more. I'm done." Right? That night, they went and broke in that jewelry store and did all these different things. And one of my friends that did it, he had a football scholarship. He could have played at any college in the nation, basketball, any college in the nation. What he did that night is he kicked his leg through the fiberglass of that jewelry store. And when he yanked his leg back, a big piece of the fiberglass broke off in his calf muscle, and it ended his basketball and football career. But the most crazy thing is when you went to go visit him at the hospital, he was handcuffed to the bed. And I remember that Mr. John was teaching me that if you keep going through this path, you're going to find yourself handcuffed to the hood. You're going to be stuck in the hood. And when I saw my friend handcuffed to the hospital bed, I knew that I had to make a decision. And once I started reading those Slam magazines, when I started working on my basketball skills, when I got that mentor and I broke away from the crowd and I stayed focused, that's what allowed me to finally get an opportunity to play college basketball, move out the hood, and that's how I got to where I am today.
Holy crap, man.
But I will say this. That's why I wrote that book, Overcome Your Empty Closet. Everything in that book is all the steps that I did to get out the hood. And that's why we have dominated. That's why I've been getting a lot of people to sponsor those books to give it to those teens, because I lay out 12 steps on how you can get your butt out the hood. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I wrote that book.
Dude, that's, oh my God. Every single time I call you or listen to you, I'm always blown.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, I actually did something about books today also. I haven't read a book in I feel like 8 years. And you know what? It's because I was scared to read a book because of my dyslexia. I was horrible at reading. Every single time I wrote something, I couldn't understand it. So I always felt like no point in reading a book. I just woke up this morning. I took my TV out and shoved it under my bed.
I saw that.
Yeah. I got my phone and I was like, you do so well with business. Why distract yourself with more excuses to not to not do your schoolwork as much as you could, to not go work out as much as you could, to not do this and focus on reading when that will actually freaking improve you? So I bought 6 books today, shoved my TV under my couch, and I went on my phone and I deleted all my apps. Literally, I have one section of apps that I have like 10 apps, and it's only for business stuff that will help me succeed better.
Mm-hmm. Good.
And I did that, and I feel freaking great. And I'm not
Good.
going to lie to you. there was a couple instances today. I was gonna say after breakfast to my girlfriend, we should go watch TV while we eat breakfast. And I was like, oh shit, oh I can't do that. And I was like, that is why I did that. For that one instant, I was like, instead, I read a book and ate breakfast, and I learned something. And I was like, damn, that's great. I like this. Because I got too comfortable, man. I got too comfortable. I'm a very disciplined kid, and I work my butt off like no other. But I needed more discipline. I got too comfortable and used to the discipline I gave myself a year ago, and now I gave myself more discipline, even though I didn't have to do it. There was nothing holding me back. I was doing all what I needed to do. But I said, hell to the no. I need more discipline. And so that's what and that's the only way I can relate to anything you're saying is that it takes discipline to get your shit done. You want it, you get it.
It does. And I'm a big reader. I haven't watched television in probably 3.5 years. I'm just not a TV guy. I got a new TV. It still got plastic on it. I just need to get the thing away. I turned the thing on like 3 years ago. I don't know if things still come on. But I read every day, 10 pages a day. So between 3 a.m. and 12 noon, I'm on no social media. I check no emails. I don't do any of those things. You know, I do an investment course. I'm in a black business school, so I've learned about stocks and how to invest over the last 8 months. That's what I've been learning. Now I'm doing options and puts and all those things. But every day I read. I read personal development. I read about finance. Even when I go to juvenile detention centers and stuff like that, I'm always talking to these guys about reading because society favors the prepared mind. When you prepare your mind through knowledge and skills, more opportunities will open up for you. But that's what separates a lot of people that are highly successful from those that's not, or those that discipline themselves and they are lifelong learners. Most people would rather spend their time being entertained, being on social media, watching TV all day. Very few will sit down and read a book. So just like you talked about self-discipline, I had a friend of mine say this to me one day. He said, Gene, the only reason you can read all those books is because you have so much time. I say, really? I said, so you don't have a lot of time? He said, no, I got my family, I got my job, blah, blah, blah. But then he was telling me, and it called Game of Thrones or something like that, some TV show. I don't know. I don't watch TV like that. But he was telling about a show called Game of Thrones or something. And I asked him, how long does the show come on? He said, I think it was like an hour. But he watches this show all the time. I say, do you think that instead of you watching the Game of Thrones, you can read for an hour? I said, or not even read for an hour. Do you think you could read 5 minutes before you watch Game of Thrones? And you know what he said to me? He said, what would that do? I said, you'll be 5 minutes smarter today than you was yesterday. You know what I'm saying? But what you're doing, I saw you got the book From Good to Great. That's a good book. What you're doing now is you self-educating yourself. And I went from just reading books to writing books. And the only reason I learned how to write a book is because I read a book on how to write a book. So you're on the great path to become a lifelong learner. And it takes a lot of discipline to take your TV down. Most people can't do that. That's cool, man. I respect that.
Thank you, because it was not easy, man. Like, I enjoy TV. I've never had any issue about not watching TV. There hasn't been one bad thing I've been like, nah, man, that's not fun. I've always enjoyed it. I've had amazing memories. But I just woke up and I said, I was watching this motivational video and I just see all these kids, it's just talking about all these kids on their phone and on their TV, and they're in middle of school. And I'm like, I do the same thing. And I'm like, I'm not going to be that 99% that does that. I'm going to be that 1% that says, fuck that. I'm 19. If I work with this now, I'm going to be better than most. And that is the one thing that kept me going. And I was like, reading books? Why am I scared to read a book?
Exactly.
I'm scared to read a book because I feel like I'm too dumb to understand it. Well, how do you understand something? Start doing it, and then you understand it.
Exactly. That's how you defeat any fear. You do the thing that you're afraid to do. And that's good, man. No,
thank you.
Go
Thanks,
ahead.
man. My next question to you is back to the game. Get off a little bit of seriousness. Back to the question: what does being kind mean to you?
Being kind. To me, being kind is being kind to whoever you meet. Because you don't. Here's the thing. This is something I've learned. I used to curse a lot of people out. Like I'm be real. I'm a type A personality, and I used to always be that guy that if I didn't like you, I'm gonna let you know I don't like you, right? So
I believe it.
what broke me of that is in 2000. It was in 2009. Yeah, 2009. I was still in college, and it was this guy. I couldn't stand the dude, man. I couldn't stand him, but he really wanted to try to get close to me, and but he was always high and doing all these different things. So I would be mean to the guy, right? And I remember one day I was talking to him, and he said to me, he said, "Man, you always mean to me. I just want to get to know you, talk to you, blah, 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 blah." And I wouldn't give this dude a chance. But then he died in a car wreck. And I remember thinking to myself, I was so mean and disrespectful to that guy. And I didn't realize he was going through all this depression. He was dealing with all these hard drugs. And part of the reason he lost his life is because he was drinking and driving with another friend. And I've discovered that it's important to always be kind to people, because you don't know what that person may be going through. You don't know what opportunity you may have to help that person, whether they may be dealing with suicide or drug addiction or things like that. So kindness to me is being kind to people even when you don't feel like it.
You know, I've my example to being kind. I was thinking about it while you're talking and listening. Is that it's a small example. My papa is an amazing kindest man you can meet. It's like a big marshmallow, but he wasn't that way. He had a lot of hard times growing up, and he wasn't a very affectionate person. He didn't like really hugging. He didn't like doing any of that.
Mm-hmm.
But my family taught me to always say I love you, no matter what.
Yeah.
If you were mad, you were sad, it didn't matter what we were. If we were screaming at each other, the next 5 seconds we would say I love you. Not because we did it, because we did. And my papa always saw that. My family would always say I love you to each other, and we would always hug each other. And then soon enough, my mom said he went through a lot, and now he does that because we showed him that. And ever since then, I realized that example taught me to be kind. That's why I always say to you, even if you've heard it, I say I love you, man, before I end the call.
Mm-hmm.
And I say that to every single person that I end the call. Even if I've known you for 5 minutes, it doesn't matter, because to me, kindness goes so far, because you never know. Example, like you just said, you never know what someone's going through and what it can help. And so that's my example to that. All right, man. So let's get to the picture. You showed me a photo of a police officer, and I'm having a hard time saying your name, but I'm going to try my best. Sharina Lane?
Yeah. Sharina Lene Mace. Yes, Sharina
Lane. And I looked at this picture, and my girlfriend asked me, what do you see? And I'm not going to lie to you. I didn't see anything. To be completely honest, when I looked at this picture, I was like, what am I seeing? I didn't see anything. Nothing popped to my head. Nothing was like, whoa, this is a big deal. So what I'm asking is, can you give me the significance to this picture? Why you sent it to me and why I wanted to know? Why it was significant?
So when I talked about Black Lives Matter, and I talked about there are bad police officers out there and there are good police officers, the picture that I sent you is my niece.
That is my niece.
That is my niece, the police officer. She became a police officer right after George Floyd's situation. She had just got sworn in. She grew up in the hood. One thing that I do try to encourage a lot of the youth, especially in the Black community and stuff, is to become police officers. Don't demonize this whole profession based off some bad apples. My niece goes back to the hood. You see that picture? She's in the hood. And all these kids like her. They say that's their favorite police officer. And it's individuals like that can go back to these communities and help build those bridges in those communities, so you don't have this big fight between black people and police officers all the time, and you see these massive protests. If we can get more of our youth to see being a police officer as a respected profession that it is, then we can have more of them becoming police officers. So when you have an officer that goes to these neighborhoods, they can relate to the people in the neighborhood. They're not scared. They're not going in there assuming that people are going to do things to them because they grew up in those areas. And not only that, police officers that are from the streets, that go back to the streets, they have way more respect. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I sent you that picture, because I just want to illustrate that I have a police officer in my own family. I love my niece. I'm proud of her for all the work she's done. And I don't want people to paint all officers as crooked, as killers, like we see sometimes.
That's awesome. That's all I gotta say
Yeah.
to that. That's awesome. I'm really happy you sent me that picture, and I'm really happy you explained it to me. That gave me a smile on my face. That's awesome, man. Tell if you see your sisters next time, just tell her I'm like, that sounds awesome. She's doing great. I'm proud of her. That's just awesome. All right, man. Back to the game. I definitely let her know. This is the biggest one I feel like you and me are going to really relate to. What does never giving up mean to you?
Oh man, never giving up is just being persistent. And I'm gonna tell you why. Part of the reason I have a never give up attitude is because, you know, when you grow up in a home and a parent leaves, that other parent can make a decision to leave as well, easily. My mama demonstrated the greatest spirit of not giving up, because when my daddy left, we had nights when we were sitting in the dark. She didn't know how she was going to feed us. But despite all of that, she never gave up. She stuck with us. We used to, you know, she used to love us and hug us when we was in the dark with candles. She found a job, and she worked that job until one day she slipped on some oil and she fell and she blew out her knees to the point she could hardly even walk anymore. But my mama raised us on welfare. She raised us going to church. She raised us to believe that we could be anything we want to be in life. And because I see my mama all the time not give up on us, that helped me to develop that spirit to never give up. When I had setbacks, when I lost all my money in business, those things don't really affect me because I grew up in poverty. I watched a mama raise my sister and I in poverty. And because she never gave up, we grew up to be very successful, functioning adults. So never giving up to me is being persistent, doing everything with your heart. And no matter what setbacks and disappointments that you have in life, you keep moving forward.
That's an amazing example. And I'm so happy you had a mom that did that for you. Because sadly, to be completely honest, I did not have that. Not even a little bit. My whole family, I mean, every single member of my family, it was go to college, don't do anything else. Go to military because I was told a lot by my dad that there's nothing wrong with what they did. They believe what they believe, and they really helped me in so many ways, but they did not help me go for my dream or make me believe that I can do something else other than college. Yep. My dad used to tell me and my brother, because we had dyslexia and we want to get the best grades, is that just go to military school. He would say that a lot. And so, and when I went to college, I was always different from my family, no matter what. But every single time I did a little bit of something different, they would put it down, saying it's wrong.
Yeah.
Every single time. And when this modeling came around, my parents helped me out a little bit, and then I failed. And then every single person told me, you need to quit. You need to focus on college. You need to focus on that. And then I said, hell no. Every single time I failed, no matter what, I got back up. And I did it on my fucking own. And I'm proud to say that. I have a thing. I fall on the floor when I fail. I failed so much in 2 years. I was on the floor for 4 hours a day, literally on the floor, my face to the floor, not the
Mm.
couch, not anything, on the freaking floor, and I would be on there for hours. So disappointed in myself, so feeling bad about myself. And I don't know how I got up, but I would say this every single time, no matter what. You're allowed to feel bad today. You're allowed to
Yeah.
hurt today. You're allowed to fail today. You're allowed to screw up today. But tomorrow, it doesn't matter how you feel. You figure out how to get up and find another way.
Yep.
And I would say that every single time my parents were like, you should focus more on college, not focus on this. My grandparents being like, you look gay wearing nail polish. You shouldn't do that. All those things, every single time something happened like that, no matter what, it hurt the shit out of me. If I was called dumb for dyslexia, I got up and said, I'm going to tell them they were wrong. And
Yeah.
that is what motivates me to never give up. I'm
Yeah.
going to show everyone who told me I was dumb, who told me I was anything, they were wrong. And I'm going to show it to you. That is my never giving up.
Gotcha. I love that. And you know, sometimes, Spencer, family, it's not that they want to discourage you. Family is, they probably never done it before. Anytime you step out to do something that's outside the norm, it's like when I wanted to be a speaker and an author, I got the same thing. Oh, you should stay on your job, your corporate job. It's because they never done it before. And it's hard for people to see things that's outside of what society calls the safety net, which is having a 9 to 5 for 20 something years. Well, that's changing now. Look at all the people that's been laid off, and they don't have many skills that can allow them to create their own business or do those things. And my family, they didn't have that. I'm the first in my family to own a business, you know, so they don't want to see you hurt. They don't want to see you fail. So most of the time, people, they will tell you not to do certain things or give things up because they want to protect you. And part of going after a dream is that when you're persistent and you make that dream become reality, they will be inspired by you because now they can see, you know, I can also make a dream come true in my own life. But because you have done it, despite the setbacks and the disappointments and people telling you not to do it, you are the inspiration for your family. Because it's like that in mine. You know, I got family members now looking at me and say, hey, you got your own T-shirt line, you writing your own books. You know, I'm doing everything that they didn't think, a lot of them probably didn't think I could do. But now they start to believe they can do it as well. So, you know, sometimes you just have to see it that way, man, that family loves you. They want to protect you. But you have to make them a believer by continuing to believe in yourself.
And that's, you know what, man? You're 100% right. And that's one thing I will always say no matter what. Since I made them believe in me, over time, they started to believe in me.
Exactly.
They started to be more like, that's awesome. That's cool. Keep it up. And I was like, that's awesome when they started doing that. And you want to know what's cool about that? Is that I thought they didn't really love me for who I was. And then I started to figure out, like you said, I needed a safety net. I broke that safety net. They didn't like it at first, but then I started getting better. And that's what's so cool about my family and why I love them so much is that they changed for me. Mm-hmm. They tried, even if they couldn't even understand it, they still tried to understand it.
Yeah.
And that's why I will always say I love my family. Because even if they had hard times at first, they, no matter what, tried. And that is something I will never, ever take away. They always tried and they will always love me.
Exactly. And God gave you a vision. You can see it internally. They cannot see it. The only way they can see it is when you work on it and it starts to manifest in your life. It starts to become real. You know, because without a vision, the people will perish. A lot of people will perish because they don't have vision or they have lost their vision. So people have to realize most of the time that when you have a dream or a vision, that is your dream. You're responsible for working on that dream. You can't expect somebody else to see what's inside of you. But when you believe in yourself and you start to make it happen, then they will see the vision because it's starting to become a reality.
Yeah, man. All right, Gene. We've talked about a lot tonight. I had so much fun tonight, and I just want to say, like always, you have the time to advertise yourself for the last 5 minutes because there's going to be 10,000 people, 15,000 people that are going to be checking this out. Because you know how it'd be one person extra means one person extra. So advertise away, my man. Tell them what you're doing.
Well, first I want to say this. I've been doing your meal plan. I was gonna wait till I finished it. I lost 5 pounds. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, so I want to say this first. If y'all haven't got Spencer's diet plan, I want to encourage you to get it. You know what I'm saying? It really works. I'm on week 3. That's why I haven't. That's why I posted. I'm not eating no candy, no sugar. Now it's driving me crazy because I love them Reese's Pieces, dog. I'm like, man, I got to give up my Reese's. But I've been on week 3. You know what I'm saying? So I encourage you all out there that's struggling with your weight. You're trying to exercise. You're trying to get your meal plan. Make sure that you get Spencer's diet plan because it will help you. It's easy and simple to follow. As April Albert Einstein said that genius is in a simplicity. The genius thing about his diet plan is very simple that even a child can follow it. Now, there's only one thing that I'm going to say. I am about to start delivering a lot more books to the Juvenile Detention Center. The only thing that I would ask people to do is they want to sponsor a book for one of the teens in the Juvenile Detention Center. And it's this book right here, Overcoming Empty Closet. So far, I've already donated 700 of them. I have got 700 sponsors. The kids themselves love it. That's the only reason I'm doing it. I would not be driving to no Juvenile Detention Center delivering books if I didn't feel it wasn't making a difference, okay? So if you would like to go to genemosley.com, hit shop, go down and you will see donate a book to a kid, sponsor a book for a kid at Juvenile Detention Center. You can click on there and you can sponsor a book. The only thing that I ask you to do if you do so is send me an inbox with a message for the team. You know what I'm saying? Give some type of positive message for them. They love that because one thing I like to tell these young guys is that there are people out there rooting for them. What the people don't know is these kids are called the invisible youth, the throwaway youth. Nobody wants to deal with them. That's why there's hardly no government programs out there for kids in juvenile detention centers because they pretty much gave up on them. But when they become adults and they go to prison, then they make money off of them. You know, private prisons make money off of them. But not only that, as taxpayers in the U.S., you are the one that your money is paying to feed and clothe people in these prisons. And that can cost more than you will send a child to Yale or Harvard in a year just for one of them being in that. So if you want to sponsor a book for a team, go to genemosley.com, and I would love for you to do so. Send a message because I'll be delivering books myself to try to help these young men out.
Dude, that's amazing. You inspire me always. You're an inspiration no matter what. Make sure you send me your link of genemosley.com so I can post it on my Instagram so we can help just one person. Just a little bit closer, man.
That's cool,
all right,
man.
I appreciate you being on here always. Appreciate you being a great friend. And thank you for being on the Everyone Show.
Well, thank you for having me, man. I love you, man. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep reading those books.
Yes, I will.
Books, man. That's good. And I believe in you and everything that you're doing. I look forward to hearing about your music video and all these photo shoots you're going up. I'll be watching. I'll be paying attention. And I just pray that God just bless you with everything that you desire in life, man.
Dude, same for you, man. All right, man. I love you, brother, and I'll catch you later. Bye-bye.
All right, man. Peace.
Peace.